Welcome to Coalfed Families. I'm Randy Walters, and our guest again, which we're really happy to have, is Eric Wilson of the Glen Beck 912 Project. Eric heads it up for the state of Kentucky and is on the national board of the project. And welcome to our show again.
Thanks. It's a pleasure.
You were in New York and on the Beck program.
Yes, for the anniversary show this past March, yes.
Tell us about it.
It was a humbling and exciting, once-in-a-lifetime type of experience. They called me up and asked me if I wanted to come and represent the 912 Project on the show, and of course said yes, and I said was humbled by the opportunity to come out. I think one of the whole experience was exciting. Chance to be on the show, answer some questions, and really talk about the 912, and more importantly, talk about Kentucky and what's going on in Kentucky and the great people here in the state. But one of the defining moments for me during the whole trip was actually on my way back, because I was on the plane, getting ready to come back from New York, and the gentleman behind me said, "Were you in New York City for business or pleasure?" And I actually had to pause when he asked me that question, because I really couldn't figure out the answer to that question, because even though it was enjoyable, that's not really why I was there. It wasn't really a pleasure trip while I was there, just to talk about the 912 Project and what we're doing in the Liberty Movement. When you talk about business, this isn't my job. I mean, I'm representing the 912 Project here in Kentucky, and I'm on the national board for the 912 Project, nationally as well. But this isn't my job. I have a real job outside of this. But it's not really about me. This is about everybody else. It's just like me. Because the people who's involved in the 912 Project at the grassroots level, the people who are involved with at the tea parties, and the people who are coming out and are making a difference now that maybe never had a voice before, are people like me. They're the stay-at-home moms. They're the small business owners. These are the people who have jobs and have occupations outside of what we're doing now, but they're coming out and having their voices heard for the first time. And I said, that was really a defining moment for me when I was coming home, saying, this is what it's all about. This is grassroots. This isn't about the career politicians, trying to do something. This is about ordinary, everyday people trying to make a difference, and that's what 912 Project's about.
You also have a lot of senior citizen involvement.
We do.
In the I've noticed on the Tea Party clips that they do show you on television. You see, it's really funny. They talk about the angered Tea Party mobs, and you see it, and it's a bunch of grandmothers and grandfathers there standing with signs, and you think, yeah, but that's a dangerous bunch of people right there. Doggone, I sure wouldn't want to cross them.
Yeah.
But you see that a lot, and you see people from all walks of life that are involved, and it's just a movement throughout the country. And it's like you said, it's not just because of the current administration, but it's because of, over the years, the voting public has become less and less and less a part of the equation.
That's right. You could track this back to Woodrow Wilson. We still hate that man.
Right.
But that's where this progressive movement's been going on for years, and it goes from Republicans and Democrats. We've been having our liberties chipped away and our constitutional rights chipped away for years. We're just finally standing up and saying enough, and that's about what we are right now.
Okay. The program that, we catch the Beck program a lot, and we see a lot of the history of the nation being brought out on the program, that there are a lot of things that I didn't know, and of course, if I'm sitting there with somebody watching, I'll say, yeah, I knew that. But I didn't know it, and it's quite interesting when you get into the actual workings of what was going on so long ago, and everything that they put into it. And you have to remember, these guys they just put their lives on the line.
They did.
And said, here's what we're going to do. And you got to know that their heads would have brought a prize in England at that time.
They would. They had everything to lose. I mean, look at this: 56 founders that signed the Declaration of Independence, and it was July 2nd when they first had the first resolution passed, and 12 colonies voted for it, none against it, and one would abstain. That was New York State, and I picture when that was signed, when the last person said yes to it, there was this silence, and this because they knew of what the consequences of what they did on that day was. And just look at one person, John Hart. I don't know if you're familiar with who John Hart was, but John Hart was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. While he was in Philadelphia, his home was looted and destroyed. He came home to find his wife on the deathbed. The British were coming back into his home, his plantation. He had to flee. He fled to the woods and lived in the woods and caves for a year. While he was there, his wife died. His 13 children went different ways. Some of them got killed. Some of them went different ways. He never seen them again. He ended up dying penniless, without a home, without a plantation. That was just one of the founders. 5 of the founders were actually kidnapped. I mean, well, not kidnapped, but were taken prisoner by the British soldiers and tortured until death. John Milton Jr., he gave $2 million of his own money to fund the Virginia militia. Never got a penny of it back. His plantation was destroyed as well, and he died penniless in an unmarked grave. These were our founding fathers. They had everything to lose, and they gave it all for us. And it makes you wonder sometimes of, what do we give? At this time in history, we have freedoms that we never had before, and we've asked to give so little for it. I mean, I would love to see 56 Leaf founders come back today that would be willing to give up their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor. I mean, that's what we need today.
Be tough to find.
It would be tough to find.
But the main part of this is they did this, and they did it for us, and we seem to have lost this into translation somehow throughout the years and let those hardcore principles and values that they came up with and put together, which were, I mean, you can like it or not, they were based on biblical principles.
Correct.
And they put all of this together to form a government that has prospered and done well, a nation that has prospered and done well, and it seems to have just be trickling away.
That's true. I mean, if you look at what they've accomplished, it comes to a point now where we're pretty much at a crossroads again, where we're asked to really define where we're going in the future. And we're asked, the choice is easy. I mean, did they fail? Are the best days behind us or ahead of us? I mean, those are the choices that we have to face. I don't think they failed. I think they put together a system that will work for generations to come. And I think the best days are ahead of us. And that's what the basis of the 912 Project and a lot of these liberty movements are based on, that we're not going to give up, that what the country was founded on, those basic principles, and you said they're biblical principles as well, that subset of those principles is what's going to carry us to the future, and that's what we're trying to lay the foundation for. It's not an emotional-driven movement. This is a foundation we're laying for generations.
Right. And in our interest, what we can look at is that it's like a car. They came up with a good car. It runs, okay? And then all of a sudden you have people coming in saying, "No, let's take this spark plug out, and let's take that spark plug out," and pretty soon the car won't start. Yep. And that's what America's been doing lately, is taking the spark plugs out, and a lot of it's not going to start again. Hey, listen, we've enjoyed having Eric Wilson with us, and we hope that we will have him back, and we hope that you've enjoyed the program. Thank you so very much.
Appreciate coming.